Yo, what's up with it, y'all? It's JD and I'm back with another quick video. In today's video, I want to chop it up with you guys about the fact that we can have it all in this life, we just can't have it all at once. And specifically, I want to talk about calisthenics, but I also want to talk about how this can relate to other aspects of life on, how we can have everything, we just can't have everything at once. We can have everything that we want from people, but we just can't have it all from one person. So before we get into the video, if you guys are interested in fitness, health, travel, overall growth content, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Hit that notification bell so you can get updated every time I drop new content. But let's get back into the video. So specifically, I wanted to talk about calisthenics, and specifically I wanted to talk about calisthenics skills, because we can acquire all these calisthenics skills. We can do muscle ups, we can do handstands, we can do front levers, we can do side levers or human flags, whatever you want to call them. We can acquire all these skills, but it would be extremely difficult to be able to acquire all these skills at once. So when it comes down to your calisthenics training, you're really going to want to focus in or hone in on 2, maybe maximum 3 skills at a time as far as training, and as far as really difficult skills to try to get proficient at. So if you're somebody who's kind of in the beginning stages of your calisthenics journey, maybe you want to focus in on your muscle ups, and maybe you want to focus in on handstands or something like that. You can work on both of those skills. You can kind of do muscle ups one day, then you can do your handstands the next day. Doesn't mean that you can't train other exercises. Of course, you're going to want to build towards your overall strength. But as far as the really difficult skills that are going to take a lot of your energy and a lot of your time, you're going to want to just focus on 1 or 2 of those things. Me and James had a live stream conversation last week, and we were talking about going wide versus going deep. And when it comes down to going wide, you can spread yourself a little bit too thin sometimes. So if you're trying to work on, a million different skills at once, it's going to take you much longer to acquire those skills than it would be if you were to go deep in on 2, maybe 3 skills. So for myself in particular, I'm working on front levers and I'm working on planche. So I'm going through the progressions on the front lever and I'm going through the progressions on the planche. And I'm pretty much working on these skills every other day, if not 3 to 4 times per week on both of these skills. So I'm putting in a lot of work on these skills recently, and as far as like my progressions in these, I've been making some monumental progress, especially on the front lever. And honestly, I haven't even been training the front lever as much as I've been training the planche, but just because I've been training that skill a little bit longer, now I'm kind of getting into these more legit straddle front lever holds. And even on the planche, I'm making a lot of progression. They're micro progressions, but for me, those micro victories, when it comes down to my planche training, is something that holds a lot of weight with me. It gives me a big boost when I can make just the smallest little improvement. Also, guys, I'm always working on my handstands. That's kind of something that I'm always kind of playing around with, and that what I would say is kind of the 3rd skill that I'm kind of training right now. And I actually unlocked a handstand movement that I've been trying to unlock for a while now, or at least it's been in my mind that I've been trying to unlock it for a while. It's something that kind of seemed a little bit more difficult than it actually was, and that's the tiger bender handstand push-up. And I hit that for the first time earlier this week, and then the next day I hit a couple reps on it, and now my focus on that movement is just to keep on moving forward with that. So with all that being said, and all this progress I've been making with my calisthenics journey, there are plenty of movements that I've regressed in, and I've almost made monumental regressions in certain movements. One in particular is muscle up. I just haven't been training muscle ups for months, and it shows. Like, my muscle ups are they're just not clean, and I can't get a lot of reps in right now, which is something crazy to me, because it's a movement that's always been, I wouldn't say necessarily easy, but it's been a movement I've been proficient at for a while now. So for me, when I get on the bar and do 3 muscle ups, and I'm not even doing clean muscle ups when I do 3 muscle ups, it's something that I kind of like mentally struggle with. It's like, man, I feel bad about it, but at the same time, I need to constantly remind myself that I can't have all these movements, and I can't be at my peak form in all these movements at once. Especially, you gain what you train for. So if you're not training for the muscle up, then obviously you're not going to be able to do it as proficient if you were putting the work in, every other day or on a regular basis. Same thing goes with the human flag. The other day I kind of was playing around with the human flag, didn't really try to get a long hold, but I just felt, you know, by doing like a little micro hold on the human flag, like my strength isn't there. But the good thing about all these movements that maybe you kind of regress on is that you've already learned how to master these movements. You've already learned how to get these movements down, and you already know the steps that you need to take to get them back. And you know, me and James talk about this all the time. It's like the knowledge that you acquire on your calisthenics journey is actually the most important aspect of your calisthenics journey in general. You're breaking through plateaus. You're eliminating a lot of self-limiting beliefs that you might have had coming up. And one thing that you'll realize is that if you had self-limiting beliefs on the physical level, that a lot of times we have self-limiting beliefs on the mental level as well. The mental and the physical are just kind of two branches on the same tree anyways. So once you kind of figure out a hack on one of them, you know, it leads to you figuring out a hack on the other end of the spectrum. So, you know, eliminating these self-limiting beliefs and breaking through plateaus and breaking through these glass walls, these glass ceilings that we set for ourselves is probably the most important aspect of your calisthenics journey in general. On another note, I want to kind of talk about how this relates into the real world as well. So I was thinking about this as well when it comes down to relationships and just in general, just romantic relationships or maybe platonic relationships that you have with friends, is that you can have everything that you want from people as far as, you know, say for instance you're talking about your love life. So I can go out and find a girlfriend who's all into physical fitness, she looks good, you know, she's smart, yada yada yada, but there's going to be some aspect of this woman where she kind of has a weakness, because we all have weaknesses and none of us are perfect. So you have to understand that you can get it all from women. You can get everything that you want out of women. You just can't get it all out of one woman. And just like calisthenics, we kind of build a portfolio of experiences in our life. So with calisthenics, we build a portfolio of skills. We build a portfolio of personal records. When it comes down to dating, you know, we have plenty of different experiences as we go on our journey in life in terms of the type of women that we encounter. You know, we might have met a woman who added value into our life in one aspect, and then we meet a woman who adds value into your life in another aspect. I can actually think about that in my last two relationships. You know, the last relationship I was in, I would say the girl that I was with, or the woman that I was with, she added a lot of value in terms of, you know, like she was very in tune more so on a spiritual level. And then the chick that I was with before then was, you know, really into physical fitness, you know, really into staying healthy and different things of that nature. So they added value into my life in different ways. And you're not necessarily going to get the complete package. Of course, when it comes down to somebody that you want to spend, you know, a lot of time with and maybe have a really long-term relationship with, we're always going to be looking for the person who brings the most to the table. And, you know, I like to think about this in terms of friendships as well. So when it comes down to friendships, we're going to have, you know, different friendships in life. I actually consider, you know, friendships very rare. Like genuine friendships are very rare. So, you know, if you get a handful of true friends in your life, I think you're an extremely lucky person. And for myself, I feel like I'm blessed in that way because I have, you know, 5 or 6 really, actually I'll probably say like 4 or 5, maybe even 6 really good friends. I can't really think of it right off the bat. But with all my friendships, you know, they all bring something different to the table. Just like I bring something and add some value into their life in some way, they add value into my life in a certain way as well. And different friends are going to bring different things into your life. So say for instance you have a friend who's, you know, really good at listening, you know, to your problems and can kind of help you work through your problems. And then you might have a friend who's more hard-nosed and, you know, just gives you a kick in the ass when you need it. Then you might have a friend who's super motivational. Then you have a friend who, you know, inspires you in a different way. So we can get it all, we just can't get it all from one person. Same thing when it comes down to romantic relationships as well. But with calisthenics, you know, what we need to do is really focus in on building up our portfolio. And that's portfolio of accomplishments, that's portfolio of exercises that we master, and portfolio of fitness levels as well. When it comes down to physical fitness in general, calisthenics, there's going to be seasons. And, you know, some seasons are seasons to plant seeds. Some seasons are seasons to just water those seeds with blind faith. And then there's going to be seasons where, you know, you reap the harvest of all the work that you've been putting in.